and that was a man for forgery, who was the last person to be hung there. But it is right by Hyde Park. We also got the Marble Arch coming up in a moment on your right hand side. The Marble Arch used to stand in front of Buckingham Palace and to Hyde Park. Next year, when we have the Olympics here in London, the Russians are taking over the Hyde Park, and it's where their Olympic Committee will be doing their entertaining. Very handy for Oxford Street, just off there to your left hand side, nearly missed that one. The most popular shopping street in London, and that's what people come to London for. Forget about the magnificent architecture, forget about the parks, forget about the pageantry and the museum. The first house you came to as you came in from the west from London, so they called it Number One London, when he moved in 1817. The Duke of Wellington got into the world history books when he commanded the troops at the Battle of Waterloo, which was the final defeat of Napoleon Bonaparte on June the 18th, 1815. We've got the Wellington Arch as the Chariot of War is reined back, and it's a symbol to commemorate the great peace treaty between Britain and France, the Entente Cordiale, in 1904. And it's hard to think of two nations who don't have warmer regard and closer relations than the British and the French. Anyway, beyond that lovely wall, that gorgeous spikes and that magnificent barbed wire are the grounds of Buckingham at wedding. It was here on the 29th of April this year that a Rolls-Royce pulled up at the West Towers of Westminster Abbey. A young woman stepped out of that Rolls-Royce. She walked into the church, she walked down the aisle of the Abbey, and then the whole world held its breath. Her name was Pippa Middleton, and despite that sister of hers trying to upstage her, that is what most of our funeral service, the anniversary, it's 14 years since the funeral service of Princess Diana took place here at Westminster Abbey. In 2002, the funeral service of Prince William's great-grandmother, the Queen Mother, took place here in April. We think in the order of about 3,000 people are probably buried in the Abbey. We always say it's where the great, the good and the heroic of British life are buried or commemorated in Westminster Abbey. And we're supposed to be very, very cliquey in this country, so we bury them, we bury engineers with engineers, scientists with scientists, because we love to talk shop, even into Mary Sir Walter Raleigh. Over to your right hand side you can see the Palace of Westminster. That's its correct title. The new Palace of Westminster, because there's been a palace on the site for well over 900 years, but most of the old Palace of Westminster was destroyed in a fire in 1834. Parliament meets there. Our national legislature is meeting there today. The longest serving member of Parliament in the 20th century is the gentleman whose statue you'll see here on your right hand side. His name is Sir Winston Churchill. He's dressed for the English summer's day. 2000 has stood the London Eye here on your right hand side as we come round. The most recognised building in London is the London Eye. After only 11 years standing there. It's amazing. It's become the most popular paying attraction in this country. It's just over about 440 feet tall, and it's got 32 pods. If you actually pack them, you get about just under 900 people on them. They very rarely pack them. They just get enough people on, and then they just keep trying. Thought it was going to be there for 5 years. I got that one wrong, didn't I? And it's been given an extra lease of life for about 20. And now we've built Culture Vulture Heaven over there on the South Bank, because you've not only got a fabulous concert hall in the Royal Festival Hall, then you've got a recital room, a dance studio, you've got an art gallery, you've got the National Film Theatre over there, and once we get past Waterloo Bridge, we'll have the National Theatre there as well. So the South Bank is just one of those places that have just blossomed in the past 10 years or so. They have just, it's come in But never mind the church. I told you, retail therapy, a brand new shopping precinct with a lovely piece of art just coming up on the right hand side. Have a look at the nail. Can you see how good that is? It's fabulous. You're not that impressed. If they say if you like the nail, you ought to see the hammer, is what they've always been telling us about it. So, and that's a brand never rebuilt it after the bombing of the Second World War. We are going into St. Paul's Cathedral now. I got a red and blue umbrella, and our plan.
We should make it